scoring judges can now, or well, they always could, but this just makes it a little bit clearer that scoring judges can record violations in their scores, that will actually affect the team score for that round. And any scoring judge who identifies a violation can impose that against their score. But in addition to that, the actual board can impose sanctions whether or not the scoring judges identify those in their score. So this kind of just clarifies things, because I know there have been some questions in the past about how scoring is calculated when there have been violations identified. So this just clarifies that a little bit. The only other change that we've incorporated this year has been to Rule 5.4. And again, it's not really a change to the rules. It's just an explanation. It just goes into much more detail what unfair extrapolation is. And for those of you who may not be familiar, unfair extrapolation is when a witness is testifying something that is not necessarily there in the record. And so it takes something that's not already in the record and states it as a fact, which is not permitted. And so this kind of goes through what unfair extrapolation is, when that has occurred, what the actual fix is when someone identifies an unfair extrapolation. You make an objection, and this is what the objection is. So it kind of goes through how to fix it if you've identified the other team making an unfair extrapolation. And then it goes through some commentary about what is and is not fair extrapolation, and what is reasonable to infer and what is not. So this just really goes into a lot more detail about what this means, what the objections are, things like that. So those are the only two changes to the rules. I know we uploaded the 2026 rules, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that there haven't been any changes. There have just been these two revisions that kind of explain things a little better and hopefully clarify things so there aren't as many questions. So those are the two changes to the rules. The new problem this year is a civil problem. So if you've got any questions about the rules or the problem, now would be a good time to raise those. Looks like we've got someone having some technical issues, but if there are any other questions that you guys want to raise, I'd be happy to hear those now.
Yeah, hi, I'm Gina Spade. I had a question about the team composition. So it says 6 to 9 team members. Does that mean you can have 6 kids like on the plaintiff side, and then I guess 3 of those kids and 3 different kids on the defense side, for example?
Yeah, so you can actually completely change round to round which 6 kids of your up to 9-person team
Okay.
is doing which role.
Okay.
There's really no rule that the same team member has to be in the same role for every round.
Right.
So it's not like you have to have a set roster for your plaintiff's problem and then a set roster for your defense problem. You can change
Okay.
those around from round to round.
Okay.
So, I think the thing that we tend to see most often is that you've got your team of attorneys, and then
Mm-hmm.
you've got a different person doing each witness. So that's what we see the most often, is
Okay.
that, your team is made up of, the same 3 attorneys each round, and then 3 different witnesses, plaintiffs to defense. But you can do that however you see fit and however your team members want to do it.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's always got to be a timekeeper. So it's
Mhm.
also perfectly permissible to have, your 6-person team plus a timekeeper
Thank
who
you.
never actually is doing, attorney or witness work. So that's an option as well. Or you can rotate it every round.
Okay, thanks. That's really helpful. We have 10 that want to, be on the team. So we're gonna have to figure out what to do with the other person. They can be kind of an understudy. We have a few freshmen, so I think that'll work out. But I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure we could actually assign roles to all nine, at least nine,
Mhm.
the nine that could officially be on the team. So thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions about the rules or the problems? Okay, well
I, I
the
I had a question if I could, if you can
yeah,
hear me.
yeah.
Hey, this is Eric Nichols. Just a follow up on that because I'm in the same boat. I have 10 students that want to compete,
Hmm.
and but two of them are like they're seniors. They got a heavy load on their stuff. They want to be on the team because they were on it the last 2 years. And they were wondering, could we have like nine and then one designated timekeeper, or does
Yeah,
that's still above the nine?
yeah, well, that is true. We have approved situations like that in the past. If you want to have your team of nine, and then a 10th timekeeper, we have approved teams of 10 in the past. So yeah, if you guys just want to email us your team roster and make it clear that, there is going to be a 10th on there, but they're just going to be a timekeeper. We would have to approve those on an as needed basis. Yeah, I would just need to see your roster and put that in writing to that mock trial email. And we can of course take a look at that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I had a question, if that's okay. And this
Absolutely.
may be well outside the scope of this conversation, but I am a new coach, and the previous coach went to a different district, so I don't want to bug them. I'm just wondering if anyone has any tips on how to like just maybe need to know information or kind of how to get started with this. I mean, I don't have big goals for this year besides show up, you know. Um, but yeah, just
Yeah.
any tips for somebody who's brand new, I would really appreciate from you or anybody.
So most of our rules are very similar to the national mock trial rules. They've got a lot of resources on their website. So I would definitely point you there. I think they also have informational videos, and if they don't, there may be other teams that do have videos of like how to run a competition on YouTube that kind of give tutorials about like what this looks like. So yeah, I would definitely point you to those resources. What school are you with, Allie?
Yes, I am with Bonner Springs High School.
Okay, Bonner Springs. So let me also see if I know because I have gotten a couple emails about attorneys that are interested in mentoring. So let me see if any of those emails were in your area,
Okay.
and then I can point them your way, and that may be a resource also. Um, I know there was a Kansas City attorney who emailed me about possibly wanting to mentor, but we'll have to see um, if I can get anyone connected with you that way. So yeah, so let me look at that. But in terms of just like dipping your foot in, figuring out kind of what the deal is, I'd point you to the national mock trial and YouTube.
Okay, cool. That's very helpful. Thank you. And I would
Absolutely.
welcome any comments in the chat from anybody else as well. But I will definitely be looking at that website and those videos. Thank you.
Um, and then I'll also say that so the competition this year is going to be at the same courthouse in Wichita that it is every year. The Kansas City competition is going to be at the Wyandotte County Courthouse again this year. Um, I'm not positive yet on what in terms of hosting like meals and things is going to look like this year. But we will definitely keep you all updated what the actual competition day is going to look like. The first round will start at 8, like it does every year. So try to get there sometime between 7 and 8 to get room assignments and things like that. I'll try to have the room assignments done the week in advance, and I'll send around to everyone the bench brief. So that's what I'm going to send to all of the judges. And so you'll be able to see exactly what the judges see. That'll also have the scoring rubric. So you'll see what the judges are being instructed to look at. And I do think that on the mock trial website, there is, objections, common objections. So those resources are going to be a good thing to look at. But then in terms of like what the judges are going to be looking at, I'll send that around to you all before the competition. That'll also just have some information about competition day, what it's going to look like, where to go, where to park, who's going to be on the ground. We're going to have Morgan and Ben, and I think Ben was on here at one point, but he may not be anymore. They'll be in Wichita. And then I and some KBA staff will be in Kansas City running the competition. So depending on where you guys are at, those will be your resources for administering the competition and being on the ground on the day of. So, and our contact information will also be in the bench brief so that you can contact Ben and myself on the day with any questions or issues that come up. Yeah, I think that just about covers all of the, administrative stuff for today. So wanted to make sure that you guys knew the changes to the rules. Didn't have any questions about the case. And then any other just things that come up. You've got the mock trial email. Feel free to shoot an email that way as things arise. Any other questions before we call it for the day? Okay. I appreciate you guys being flexible. I know this was a kind of last minute change. We've had a lot of technical difficulties the past couple months. So getting everything out and ready, I'm glad we were able to finally get that all done. So yeah, reach out to the mock trial email if you need anything between now and February. And I look forward to seeing you guys all then. Thanks so much.